Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Juan Solo here with Day Squad Gaming, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in today for some more State of Decay 2. So, just the other day, we got to see our real first look at State of Decay 2 gameplay. IGN covered it over on their website, and they were doing a, I would say probably a 3 or 4 hour stream, and they did a bunch of 4-player co-op. So this game has 4-player co-op. That's one thing that's really huge about this game compared to the first State of Decay, because it was a good game. Don't get me wrong, State of Decay, the first game was a good game. There was just, some animation bugs and some other bugs and stuff in the game, and it was only a single-player game. So being the fact with State of Decay 2, they are bringing 4-player co-op into the scenario, it's going to be so much fun. I honestly cannot wait to get my hands on this game. But they did preview a lot of the cool features and stuff. They didn't do any base building or anything like that, but they did do a lot of just, going around exploring, looting the environment, shooting zombies, and taking down some of the bigger hordes and stuff of zombies. So in today's video, I'm going to kind of break down a few of the things that I think that you guys probably would like to know or need to know about State of Decay 2. So like I said in the first, this game is 4-player co-op. You can play it in single player, and you can play it, if you play it in single player mode by yourself, you can have some AI teammates and stuff that go around with you. But the predominant thing in this game is probably going to be the 4-player co-op, because that was one thing that the fans have been asking for the first State of Decay for pretty much since the launch of the game. So this game will have 4-player co-op, which I'm really excited about. I will probably do some playing with subscribers or something like that on the channel. So make sure that if you guys want to do that, stay tuned for that. But the gameplay that we really got to see in the live stream was running on a high-end PC, and it looks a lot more polished than the first State of Decay. And the original game was really fun, but it did have some technical issues, and animations look a lot more fluid in State of Decay 2. Even with teaming up with other players and stuff, with the melee combos and stuff that you can do in this game, it did look significantly better than the first State of Decay, which is good pushing forward, especially because they dropped the price to get this game out to more people. You want it to be a good product, and I really think that Undead Labs did a very good job with the graphics and stuff of this game. So the players that we got to watch in the live stream, they weren't on any specific quests or anything. We got to see a lot of the scavenging and the combat elements with melee combat and weapon combat with the different weapons. So the weapons we did get to see was a silenced sniper rifle. We got to see an AR that kind of looked like an M4. We got to also see some shotguns, and then a ton of different melee weapons, which there's some crazy melee weapons. I would almost say along the lines of like Dead Rising, where you can kind of make your own weapons and stuff, because there were some really cool weapons that you were used for melee in this. But one of the big new elements that's going to be in State of Decay 2 that was not in the first one was the Blood Plague Hearts and the Blood Plague Zombies. So let me kind of elaborate on this. So there is a disease in this open world called the Blood Plague, and you have to go around and vanquish these Blood Plague Hearts to kind of get the zombies out of that area. So it's going to be like these instances that basically you go in there and you're going to get hordes and hordes of zombies, so you're going to definitely have to be on your toes, bring a lot of firepower, because once you start attacking one of these Blood Plague Hearts, there's going to be a bunch of zombies that you will see that have these red eyes, and those are the Blood Plague Zombies. And if you get hit or bit by a Blood Plague Zombie, you will actually contract the virus, and then you will have I wouldn't say a limited amount of time. Usually, from the screenshots and the video that I saw, you have about 3 hours to find a cure. And to get a cure, you actually need to destroy the Blood Plague Heart and take those samples from that back to your base, where you're going to have something set up at your base to basically make that and turn that into an antidote, so that it can basically save your life. Because there's a meter above the minimap in the bottom left hand corner that will slowly fill up once you get infected with the Blood Plague virus. Once that completely fills up, it's gonna transition to another meter that's slowly gonna drain, and that is basically your life. Once that fully drains, you will turn into a blood plague zombie. All of your loot and everything that's on you is still gonna be on you, but you're basically gonna turn into a zombie. You're gonna lose that character, and if you're in a 4-player co-op game, that character that turns into a zombie is going to go and start attacking your other players that you're playing with and stuff. So on a side note with that, guys, this game has permadeath. So if you have a character and you play with that character a lot. You know, you rank up their skills, their masteries, all sorts of stuff. It's, you know, stat wise, it's a very, very good character, and you just kind of go in balls deep in a certain area and you get killed by a zombie. That's it. That character is gone. You no longer have that character. You have to start a new character. So I do like that, because there is a little bit of, you know, risk to reward. You can't just go in there like super crazy and do dumb stuff and die and then respawn with your same character and all your same loot and all that stuff. So it definitely adds another layer to the game, being the fact that if you get into a situation where you get, you know, overrun by a horde of zombies, there's a chance that you all might lose your characters, which, especially down the road when you progress that character a lot, that's a big deal. So over the span of this game, I really think that it's going to add, like I said, a whole nother layer to the game. It's going to make you kind of think about the scenarios, kind of scout out the areas, and make sure you're not going to get overrun by a horde of zombies and stuff. So honestly, that's something that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm really glad that they brought that to the game. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is notable when I was watching the live stream, that you do not see a health bar for your teammates, which, you know, you kind of got to keep an eye on that, especially you got to communicate very well. They can obviously verbally communicate their status, but other than that, most of the time it's just the animations and stuff that they'll be doing. Significant injuries will shamble. It'll make you kind of, you know, how do I put it? Kind of stumble around. You won't be able to fully sprint and run and stuff if you get severely injured, and you're going to have to make sure that you take care of yourself, because like I said, if you get severely injured and there's a horde of zombies and you can't get away, you're probably going to lose that character. So let's jump into the next topic here. So the State of Decay 2 is going to feature a full day-night cycle that is longer than the original games. So they made it so that the day obviously is going to be longer, but when you progress into the night, I tell you guys, I'll try to put up some screenshots on screen from the live stream, and then also there's another screenshot that they kind of released not too long ago. When you're playing at night in State of Decay 2, it feels scary, because they really toned it down with the brightness and stuff. Yeah, you can still see, because it sort of has like a little bit of a blue effect, so it's not like pitch black, you can't see anything, but it is very, very hard to see at nighttime, which is the way it should be in a rural environment like that. And flashlights are key. Flashlights are big. You can have, there's multiple different flashlights. There's like flashlights that you can hook onto your strap of your backpack that kind of shines in front of you. I believe there's weapon flashlights and all sorts of stuff like that. So when you're playing at night, the game feels completely different. It actually feels borderline like a horror game, I guess you could say, because you know, you can't see very far, and you could turn a corner around a building and there could be a giant horde of zombies there that you had no idea was there, just because of the way the nighttime works. And then, like I said, the night cycle, day cycle, everything with it is progressed a lot further than the first game. So obviously, yes, that's going to help in the daytime. Your days are going to be longer, but once you get into night, it's not just going to pass over in like 10 or 15 minutes. It's going to stay dark for a while, and you have to make sure that you monitor the situation, because zombies also are a lot more violent, a lot more hostile at night. Their senses, I guess, are better at night, which kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how that works, especially once you get a base. The bigger you build your base is basically how they progress the zombie difficulty. So it's not scaled based on how many people are in your lobby. So whether you're playing with one person or 4 people, it doesn't really change the difficulty. The difficulty is sort of based off of how big your home base is. So right at the start of the game, when you just start your base, it's going to be a little bit easier, but the more you build up your base, the more things you add to your base, the more security and stuff that you add to your base, the zombies are actually going to get harder, because obviously you have access to more things. You have a bigger home base with more medical supplies, more food, more water, that sort of thing. So that's how they scale the difficulty in this game. They basically scale it based on how secure and everything you are with your base. So the bigger your base is, the better it is, the harder the zombies out in the open world. And I tell you, there are so many different types of zombies. And like I said, I mentioned this a few times, there are zombie hordes. So think Walking Dead. You know, like I said, you might turn a corner and there might be 100 zombies right there in front of you, and you need to, at that point, I probably wouldn't shoot, I would run, because shooting does attract zombies. And then with that, there are also little, you can shoot off fireworks and stuff. So you can kind of set a firework down on the ground that makes a lot of noise and shoots off lights and stuff like that, that will attract zombies. So that's a very good way to set up ambushes and stuff. So if you go into a town, you don't see a lot of zombies, you're a little curious on what's going on, you go to the middle of the town, you set up one of those fireworks or something in the middle of the street, it's going to attract most of the zombies from that town to that area, and then you can obviously ambush that group of zombies and then kind of go through and loot the town as you please, because you would have got most of the zombies cleared out of the town. So, you know, there's a lot of cool mechanics that are in this game, like I said, with the permadeath, the full day-night cycle, the way the looting and everything works. And also, real quick, before I get too far off topic here, the looting system. I know there was a few people that were asking me about the looting system, being the fact that when you're playing 4 players, there is more loot. When you, depending on how many people are in your game, it expands on the loot. So if you have 1 person, there's going to be a set, you know, rough amount of loot. If you have 4 people, there's roughly going to be about 4 times as much loot, because, and then you're going to be able to, everything's kind of color coordinated. So each of your teammates has a different color to their, like, to their name tag, I guess you could say. And then they can mark waypoints and stuff on the map, and you will tell which character is marking which waypoint because it's all color coordinated. Also, when you are looting, that is the same way. So, like, for instance, you go into a building, there's going to be a bunch of different color coordinated loot spots, I guess you could say. It's not going to look like crazy, like, not immersive or anything. It's just going to have a little bit of shade to it when it kind of glows where it's a good spot to loot. And each of them are color coordinated. Like, for instance, if I'm playing as, you know, my tag is the green player, I'm going to want to loot all of those green areas because it's going to have a higher chance of giving me good loot compared to the other areas that has, like, say, the guy that has the orange tag. He's going to want to loot the specific orange spots on his screen and on his map and stuff because it's going to have a higher chance of giving him loot. So I really think that the way they're going about this game with the 4-player co-op is going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see all the things that we can do at our base, because personally, I've played a lot of DayZ and a bunch of other games like that, and base building is so much fun. It's so, I guess you could say, fulfilling to, you know, go from nothing, build up a big base so that you actually have some sort of a headquarters. You have medical supplies, food, water, security, weapons and stuff, you know, kind of at a home base, and then you can kind of venture out and explore the open world with your friends. So also with that, guys, there are NPCs obviously in the open world that you will run across, and you can either choose to save them or not. And when you choose to, like, I guess you could say, when you choose to save them or work with them to do missions and stuff, then you can also recruit those people to your base, bring them back to your base. So obviously you're going to want to put people at your base because you're going to want to be able to run your medical area, you're going to be able to run your food, your water and stuff, so you don't have to do that all yourself, obviously. So say for instance you're out in the open world and you run across a doctor in the open world, you're definitely going to want to help him, aid him, and then try to bring him back to your base. So then obviously when it comes to the medical area in your base, you're going to have somebody that knows what they're doing, because everything is stat based. Each player has certain stats that you can sort of level up the longer you play as that character. Some stats are higher, some stats aren't. So depending on what NPCs you run across in the open world, it's kind of up to you whether or not you want to choose to recruit those people to your base or not. You know, and there's so many different types of NPCs, different traits, different, you know, backgrounds and everything. So it's quite the undertaking, I guess you could say, to figure out who you're going to want to work in your base and help kind of support the base. And your base will come down under attack from zombie hordes and stuff like that, so that's something to keep in mind. But when you are, for instance, when you jump out of your game into a friend's game, you bring your character. So your base and everything stays back on your game, and then once you turn your game off or you're in somebody else's game, it's not sort of running in the background, so you don't have to worry about people dying or zombies taking over your base or anything like that. When you leave the game, it stops. Everything stops. So when you jump into a friend's game, it's kind of drop in, drop out co-op. When you jump into a friend's game, you basically pick a character from your base that you want to take into their game, and that character is the only thing you really bring into the game. You will have access to your secure locker at the other base and stuff. When you get into your friend's game, you'll have a locker that goes across all games that has some items and stuff in that you can kind of transfer and stuff between games, and that you will have access to. But other than that, the only thing you bring into your friend's game is your character. But do remember, it doesn't matter if you're playing in your own game or you're playing in a friend's game. If that character dies, it is permadeath. You do not get that character back. You will have to start all over. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much the wrap up of all the information that we've seen so far. I will leave a link down in the description to the gameplay live stream. You guys are probably wondering why I'm playing, you know, the trailer and stuff on screen, because, you know, it's IGN's footage. It's not my footage. You know, I don't really want to get in trouble, get a copyright strike or anything like that. So I will link all the gameplay down in the description below. But if you guys enjoyed this video, you guys are excited about all the cool features and stuff coming to State of Decay 2. And also, real quick, guys, this does launch May 22nd on the Xbox One and PC, so just keep that in mind. But if you guys are excited about this game, make sure to slap that like button. Also, if you guys want to see some more videos on this game coming to the channel, slap that like button. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe if you guys want to stay up to date on all things State of Decay 2. I will be covering this game quite in depth leading up to its launch, and then post-launch. Definitely going to be playing this. Definitely going to have some different videos and stuff on the channel, probably playing with some subscribers as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.